All right, class, let's get going with our boards two here. Early modern period, 1450 to 1700. Our essential question: how did the Enlightenment help empires expand around the world? So the Enlightenment came about from the scientific revolution, out of the darkness from the Middle Ages. The scientific revolution brought about new science ideas. The philosophers and the social critics brought about the humanistic ideas and political ideas that make up the Enlightenment. From France, you have the likes of Voltaire, Montesquieu, Rousseau. Scotland, Hume, Adam Smith, huge in economics. Germany, Immanuel Kant. And then you've got from England, Mary Wollstonecraft. So the Enlightenment had to battle against the absolute rulers who felt they had a divine right to rule. So the absolute rulers during this time were the monarchies in England, Spain, France, Russia, and they all sought to rule absolutely, where there wasn't any type of form of government except for one ruler, and that was the king or queen. Enlightenment thinkers challenged these monarchies. They came up with ideas, especially the social contract. People have the right to choose their style of government if the government doesn't work for them. You had the English Civil War and the French Revolution, and began to change how Europe was controlled. Now, also during this time, you had the neoclassical art movement, where they brought back the Greeks and the Romans, great ideas and architecture and paintings to help represent this time period. Now, European exploration and expansion. Europeans wanted a direct line to trade in the East. They've had, and we've talked about numerous trading across this, like the Silk Road. They wanted a direct line to take out the middleman. The formation of the Hanseatic League, that was in northern Europe, where there were numerous individuals that got together to form this league so they could have much greater strength in trade. In northern Europe, and how the Crusades sparked the need for new trade goods throughout the Mediterranean. Portugal's Prince Henry the Navigator fosters new sea technology that really got things going. Now, a lot of us have heard Christopher Columbus, 1492, sails for Spain to the New World. 1494, the Treaty of Tordesillas divides the New World between Spain and Portugal. Then we have the likes of Vasco da Gama sails south around Africa en route to India in 1497. Soon other countries would join in, Spain and Portugal, in seeking land abroad. We're talking about Great Britain and France and many others. Now, great explorers from this time frame, you have Amerigo Vespucci, Ponce de Leon, Vasco del Balboa, Magellan sailed around the world first, Verrazano, Drake, Cabot, Hudson. All of these are very famous English explorers here at the end. Now, new technology, we've kind of talked about this in our class a little bit. The stern rudder, the lateen sails, astrolabe, magnetic compass from China, three-masted caravels, all helped foster this trade and, being able to move across oceans at a much quicker rate to be able to trade more. Now, the Spanish explorers, we'll kind of talk about them for just a few minutes, because they're the ones that went to the New World and, conquistadors just conquered it. So you have Hernan Cortez, 1517, lands on the coast of Mexico with his 600 men and the help of Aztec enemies. Cortez was able to take over the Aztecs by 1525. A lot of diseases just decimated the natives up until this time. And so when they came in, the Spanish were able to just defeat these Aztecs. They also had, guns, germs, and steel. They had horses as well. Disease played a large role in the depleting of native people. Francisco Pizarro conquers the Inca Empire in 1531. Spain sets up viceroys in the New World, and natives are treated quite horribly. They were treated like slaves, but at the same time they were dying off by the millions. So some of the Christians and some of the higher-ups that were able to visit the New World thought that this was not appropriate, and so they thought something better would be to set up the slave trade, which is probably actually worse. The slaves from Africa are exported or kidnapped out of Africa to complete the hard manual labor in the New World, oftentimes working on like sugar plantations or in mines where they just were worked to death. So this will set up the Columbian Exchange, and we'll talk about that on our next boards. Remember, history's no mystery. Take good notes.